A storm is brewing, and the wind is getting wild. It's threatening to throw me off balance as I stand as close as I dare to the edge of a cliff 300 feet above Rose Lake. Even in sideways rain, I can see the water highway below me. Far easier than humping a pack on foot, the lakes have been used for centuries by the Anishinaabe and later the French voyageurs, who paddled birch bark canoes deep into the wilderness. I'm rewarded with this magnificent view because I walked here. I walked the 65-mile Border Route Trail. It traverses the boundary waters in the far northeast corner of Minnesota. Built entirely by volunteers, the Border Route Trail, or BRT, is the first long-distance backcountry trail in the state. And like a lot of big ideas, it got its start in a rather simple way.
Here's how it came to be. So a bunch of us were sitting around at a party.
Bob Jarvis serves on the board of the BRT. In 1971, he and other members of the Minnesota Rovers Outdoors Club were just brainstorming ways to backpack in the Midwest when they stumbled upon an idea.
We were looking at this topo map, and we noticed this trail that looked like an abandoned trail that went from the base of Eagle Mountain up to Brule Lake. So we said, this is kind of a nice area. It'd be nice to restore this trail. So we got permission from the Forest Service and went to work with machetes and chainsaws and Sven saws. And we said, oh, well, this is kind of fun. So let's talk to the Forest Service and see if they have any other ideas. And they did.
When Congress passed the Wilderness Act in 1964, the lakes north of Eagle Mountain along the international border came under federal protection. They were quickly becoming very popular with canoeists. Jarvis tells me that the Forest Service was hoping to take some of the environmental load off of the lakes, and they would do this by building a hiking trail along the high ridges of the border. It would serve a dual purpose of getting people more easily to the stunning views like where I was standing. But just how long does it take to build a 65-mile trail through wilderness?
Okay, the short answer is about 10 years, because there was nothing there other than these portages and a few trails that went up from the lake up to some of the sites. So the first thing that we had to do was send out scouting parties. We had to find the campsites, find the portage trails, find road accesses, and then scout all along the whole proposed trail corridor and see what things we wanted to include on the trail and what the ground was like, what the topography was like.
It took many weekends of wandering through the woods with blue ribbons to lay out a corridor, then cutting back brush and creating a path.
It was a little bit scary sometimes because, this was back before you had GPS. What we had was a compass and a topo map. So you had to be really aware of the contours and landmarks and portage trails and streams that could tell you where you were, because otherwise you could get lost, seriously lost. And of course, we didn't go wandering off by ourselves. We were always up there in groups, and the Forest Service people knew that we were there. If we didn't come out, they'd come looking for us eventually. So
As I drop down from the cliffs back into the forest and push through overgrown thimbleberries up to my chin, it's obvious that building the trail was just the beginning. The BRT needs constant maintenance. Major blowdowns like the extremely powerful windstorm in 1999 called a derecho knocked down around 25 million trees like dominoes and made the trail impassable. It would take 2 years to clear the damage. And our Minnesota winters are rough on the trail.
The winter snow, when you've got shrubs that grow alongside the treadway, you get a heavy snow, those get weighted down and permanently bent into the middle of the trail. And those are actually harder to remove than the trees you can just do with a chainsaw. With these shrubs that get bent over, you have to do each little stem with a nipper, or we've got these little chainsaws now that are like chainsaws on a stick.
Chainsaws are only allowed on the small part of the trail outside the boundary waters. All other maintenance on the BRT is done by hand, with cross saws and loppers. Almost 50 years after Jarvis and his friends came out here, the border route became part of the federally protected National Scenic Trail system. It's only a tiny fraction of the North Country Trail, which stretches over 4,000 miles from Vermont into North Dakota. Crossing a flooded pond atop a beaver dam, I hear a loon yodel from a lake out of view. Fluorescent yellow fungus grows on a tree at eye level, and it's so quiet I can hear my heartbeat. That's when I wonder if maybe where my feet are right at this moment might be the most beautiful part of it all. For KFAI, I'm Alison Young.